Before we start the video, let's just get the important shit out the way. Yes, I am also Team Danny DeVito. Readers, before I tackle the true topic of today's lesson, I feel inclined to address the "you're destroying my childhood" goblin in the room. So when the teaser trailer for Legendary Pictures' Detective Pikachu came out, some of us saw for the first time how Pokemon would look like in the real world. Some of us, me included, were very impressed with the overall transition a lot of Pokemon made, while others were fucking terrified. Mostly because, once again, the vast majority of individuals never really conceived the idea of what these creatures would look like if they were less anime/cartoony and more realistic. And when the trailer came out, along with a few sneak peeks of physical renders and puppets of a select few, said individuals were not afraid to share their concern about how uncomfortable they were. Specifically about Jigglypuff. Despite everything about the creature's render being pretty practical with what it would look like in the real world? Like, outside of it having fur, how else are you going to explain that curl on its head? That it's a bouncy ass tumor? That's both impractical and insulting to tumors. If anything, out of all the Pokemon that were in that trailer, the only one that actually was nightmare fuel was Mr. Mime. Mostly because he was always nightmare fuel to begin with. All the trailer did was just confirmed our suspicion. Oh, and don't even get me prepared on Jinx's once black now purple ass. I am not even prepared. Basically, my response to how everybody was reacting to how these Pokemon look in a live action movie was, what the fuck were y'all expecting? The moment that I found out that Legendary came out on top over that rights battle that they had with multiple other studios a year ago, I knew that they were going to make a realistic take on Pokemon. And no, I don't mean Bryan Singer's X-Men realistic. I mean, what would these creatures look like in our world realistic? Because let's just be honest, that's the only way you can make a live-action Pokemon movie work. And my first thought in realizing that this was the route that they were going to go toward was all of the existing fan art that already existed of the concept years before the Pokemon Company had the idea to make a Detective Pikachu game, or for a live-action movie of the game to happen. Some of which I really enjoy. My favorite real-life Pokemon concept artist is Joshua Dunlop over on Instagram. And I was hoping that, if not him, one of said concept artists that has shown that they're talented enough to portray Pokemon in both a realistic setting while still staying true to the source material would be tapped on the shoulder for this movie. Well, enter RJ Palmer, also known as Arvalis, over on Twitter and DeviantArt, who is also a concept artist for Ubisoft, and one of the first realistic Pokemon concept artists that became viral on the internet. Turns out he was tapped on the shoulder by Legendary Pictures after acquiring the film rights to Pokemon and deciding to make a Detective Pikachu movie. Because some of his concepts and designs actually made it not only in the upcoming movie, but in the teaser trailer that competed with the teaser trailer for Toy Story 4 when they were both released on November 12th. Now, while all of this is awesome in its own right, the important part to know about RJ's glow up to becoming a concept artist for movies is that despite this making absolute sense, this isn't the first time he's banked because of his viral realistic Pokemon art. He actually consulted on a lot of different movie projects since his fan art gained attention, with Detective Pikachu being his first officially credited concept artist gig, joining city and environment concept artist Raj Rahal. So the takeaway from this, readers, at least for me, is that there is no one solid road for success. RJ's situation could have easily happened to someone in a lesser situation than him, but is just as talented and determined. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that's happened. You have no idea how many talented singers, actors, artists, entertainers are out there that don't have the privilege of knowing somebody in the industry, or don't even have the credentials of an art school or a degree to back them up. But because they made that video, because they posted that art that they created on Instagram and DeviantArt, because they posted their song on SoundCloud, shared their talents with the rest of the world while also working on themselves because they don't have to stress out about worrying about meeting other people's standards, that they're now on the same playing field as everybody else. Multiple people, regardless of their talents, paths, and callings, have taken multiple routes to get to where they are. And while some of them were conventional, a lot of them are not. But just because they weren't taking the conventional routes doesn't mean that they were wasting their time. If anything, they found a path that works for them. And because it worked for them, they didn't deviate from it or felt the pressure of one that is more conventional. Because when you're following your own path, the main person you're trying to impress isn't some manager or producer or executive. It's yourself. Then, once that's done, anyone who can take your craft to the next level will not only notice your work, but will also notice you. And that's just as important. And while I wasn't expecting it to be the case, I'm glad that the very first live-action Pokemon movie kind of put that in perspective for some people as well. Anyway, readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comment section below what you thought of some of the Pokemon designs we saw in the teaser trailer for Detective Pikachu the movie. Or if you feel like sharing with the rest of the class an instance in which you took an unconventional route to achieve the same success as somebody else who did. Whichever question you decide to answer, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you want to help support the channel, you can purchase official merchandise by clicking the card at the end of the video or in the link in the description down below. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.